Hello there, Lemuel Sapien here again for Sapiano-logy, and I want to talk a little bit about what's going on these days. And these days, I mean 2021. Okay, we are going deeper into the 21st century, and for good reason. A lot of people are anxious. A lot of people have been looking at what's going on in the news and today's society, and it's not looking very good. What comes to mind are the events that happened at the Capitol not too long after the year started. But aside from that, we've had throughout last year, 2020, a lot of people grew very anxious, and there's a lot of fear surrounding the coronavirus pandemic. So naturally, there's a lot of angst. Naturally, there's a lot of people who are thinking, could this be it? Could this be the end of Earth's history, or are we very near? And naturally, a lot of people panicking. In that sense, that they're looking for a doomsday or apocalypse. I'm not a sensationalist by any means, but I will say this, as a historian and a believer in the Bible and prophecy, we should have been panicking for a long time, if that's what we're panicking about the end of Earth's history. Although I personally don't see that as a reason to panic. I think that's something positive in the sense that the sufferings that we know as humans will come to an end. Justice will be served, and Christ's kingdom, which is everlasting, where love eternal will reign, will be the reality and what we will all be experiencing for eternity, at least those of us who look forward to a kingdom not of this world. Now, I may have some humanistic followers who will say, well, we're looking forward for humanity to be able to get itself out of this mire of disorder and chaos. But here's the thing. As much as I believe in the human spirit, as much as I believe that we as human beings, when we shed selfishness, we can do much, and we can accomplish much, and we can usher in peace. It's just not, if there is any peace, it's not going to last very long. And there are many factors that are involved, not the least which is the human condition, the human nature, which tends towards selfishness. And whatever viewpoint or lens you look at, if you are a theist, a believer in the Bible, you know that this is the hearts of men are continually evil, as the Bible says, and this is because of sin. Now, even if you weren't a Bible believer and you believe that humanity evolved, and you're an atheist and you don't believe in the biblical testimony, still that concept is there. The innate selfishness of beings, the survival of the fittest, and no matter what worldview you embrace, it can't be denied that there is innate selfishness in humanity. And this is why, if you have political dreams of a utopia on this planet, it's never going to happen unless you wired and programmed people's minds beyond their will to just be unselfish and always tolerant. And it's not going to happen. Practically speaking, from any worldview whatsoever, Christian or atheist, or name any other religion out there, all the major religions have this concept of conflict between good and evil. And evil exists because there's selfishness. Whether they believe a demigod or whatever, or an adversarial spiritual being is influencing people to do this or do that. The fact of the matter is we see evil, and this problem of evil exists no matter the viewpoint. Atheist or Christian or Buddhist or Hindu, Muslim, or you name it. We see it as a reality, and the fact of the matter is something drastic needs to change, needs to be overhauled, and Christianity provides this framework in which a universe can exist without selfishness, where there's no pain, there's no suffering, because of the initiative of our divine creator, of the creator being, which is God the Father, who gave his son Jesus Christ to come to this earth, and he didn't have to. All these things could have taken place, where God could have wiped out humanity from existence and started from scratch and just reprogrammed everyone's minds to just be all loving and all kind and all unselfish. But that's not the universe in which we live in. That's not by any means. If you subscribe to a theology that states that God predestines, this and that, what we're seeing, and a lot of things also that are said in the scriptures go against that. God offers us free will. Whosoever will come and and give themselves to the Lord, and the Lord draws them to him. So that, I believe, is the ultimate end of all suffering. Ultimate, when sin is eradicated, when the middle of the word sin, this almost is a cliche in the theological world now, where you say that the middle of the word sin is I, which is very much true. And it's not just a little fun, gimmicky little motto that we use, but it really illustrates the problem of sin down to its core. It's really about selfishness. And we tend to gloss over this in today's age, in today's society, where we are very independent-minded, especially here in the West, where we like our freedom. We like to be... we don't want anyone messing with our business, and, my individual rights, rugged individualism, or so they say, which has its pros and cons. Now, the pros, obviously, to civil liberty, religious and otherwise, here on this planet, is that way we get to choose our conscience, through our conscience, what belief system we adhere to. Okay, so our conscience will dictate to us what we believe is right and true and moral and good. And so, in that sense, yes, freedom is, in that sense, is good. This rugged individualism is good. At the same time, there is practical needs. Okay, you have a little collective thought here, and we see this battle going on between the left and right. Okay, collectivism and then individualism. Okay, this is a constant battle, and it's like a sine wave going up in a pendulum, and it swings back and forth. It's because that these ideas, when pulled to the extreme, they will clash. Okay, collectivism in the sense when if you want everyone to be unselfish, the end to it is forcing people to those who have to give some of their possessions or belongings or money down to the not haves, and so on and so forth. And in individualism too, you see you don't see any lack of immorality in that sector either. I mean, you have hedonism, you have people imbibing gluttony and using their wealth only on themselves and not and not considering the plight of others. Okay, so these are the extremes, and they come to a head, and we see a pendulum swinging back and forth on this society. And so this is why this utopian idealism is not going to be realized ever on this planet. We've been through many wars over this. We've been through revolutions over this. We've seen a lot of bloodshed. We've seen so much suffering over these things. And the fact of the matter is, in order for this to stop, is we need the transcendence, which I believe is God, that will show us in ways that we as human beings, we cannot see with our limited vision. And because we cannot see things with our limited vision, we do not know exactly the consequences of the choices, all the choices that we make, and all the philosophies, all the ideologies that we espouse, and how they affect this person all the way across the world, or my neighbor, or here on here out. By God being able to see everything, and not just at the current moment, but also has hindsight, and also can see into the future. God knowing all. What is objectively good, what is objectively wrong. He is the only one who can stop pain and suffering. We cannot, as human beings, do that. And with respect to my humanist friends, and we've tried thousands of years, and it's just not practicable. We've seen it tried on many different levels. We've seen the attempt at trying to redistribute wealth. We've seen attempt also on the other end by people establishing massive corporations because of the economic freedom that they have that oppress other people. And with these two extremes, and they're always fighting each other, which is the best way, and there's always someone who's going to be on the losing end, someone who's always going to be on the suffering end. It's never going to be realized because of the essential nature of humanity. I mean, either way you look at it. You look at it as a Christian, as humanity is broken and sinful and has a sinful nature and no good is essentially selfish. Or if you look at it as an atheist, where it's the survival of the fittest, and you have social Darwinism, and where the strongest survive. And of course, having no ultimate good, no objective good, no objective wrong, who's to say that it's wrong to try and survive and be as selfish as you can, as you want to do it. So, at least in the Christian worldview and perspective, we see a coming end to all suffering. And it can only be done because our Creator and Lord Jesus Christ suffered himself. He came to this earth. He experienced the life that we live, saw suffering firsthand, knows exactly what we're going through, went through torture, and went through death. And having a Creator that can empathize and sympathize and can really relate to our sufferings. And that this same Jesus rose again and is in the heavenly sanctuary, or in heaven right now, interceding for his people and coming soon to put an end to all evil, sin, and suffering and death. That to me is what I truly look forward to. And I hope that you can say the same for yourself. If you enjoyed this little talk, hopefully you can visit also, I'll post it live on Facebook, but if you can visit also my YouTube channel, I'll post a link in the comments. Consider subscribing That way you can get notifications on YouTube as to when I post a talk here and there. And hopefully this has benefited you in some way. If so, send some love over and hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends, share with your family, and we'll have more talks like this and to really move those gears in the brain, and hopefully something productive can come out of it spiritually and also practically in our lives. Well, until next time, I'll see you then.